looking at these results, I have kind of formulated some opinions, some things that people might not recognize right away. It's not as simple as saying, Iowa State men and AU men are the top two teams, and New Mexico women and Colorado women are the two top teams, because they weren't even field. Some schools were holding certain athletes out. The courses are very different. Nuttycombe is very different from Tallahassee, and we'll get into that. But overall, I'm excited. There were some things that surprised me, things that I expected, and things that kind of confused me. And we'll get all into it. So
yeah, I want you to touch on all those things, and we'll go race by race. We'll start with Nuttycombe men, because that's the one that just finished. Wesley Kiptoo won the race over Cooper Tears. A lot of star power right there. And on the team race, as you mentioned, it was Iowa State getting the win and then Stanford second. But what I'd like you to do as a service to the listeners out there, before we start talking about every single race, can you just mention who ran and who didn't, basically, with these top teams? How many people were held out? Because that's just an important caveat whenever we talk about NCAA cross country. So when we go through these, at the top, can you mention, who had 2 of their top 5 out or who had 3 of their top 5 out? But I'll let you just jump right in. Nuttycombe men, what'd you think?
So there wasn't too many guys not in. Looking at Stanford and Iowa State, the people we expected who have been consistent over the year, going back to last year, were the people who were in the top 5. I didn't really see any notable number 1 stick that was being held out on the men's side, because so there may have been a potential number 4 runner somewhere that is lurking and hasn't run. But overall, I would say that what we saw is what we're going to get in November. The one team which we can go a little bit that did leave someone out is Washington. But Washington finished all the way back in 14th. Even if they replaced their number 5 runner with this guy, they're still going to finish outside of top 10 probably. So Washington did leave a top 5 guy out, but it wouldn't have changed them from 14th to a top 3 team here. Like, they would still be in the mix between 8 and 14. But overall, most teams on the men's side ran who they have.
Okay. And the end result, Iowa State gets a win over Stanford. As I mentioned, Kiptoo, Tier, Hicks, Bienenfeld of Oregon, Bob Liking of Wisconsin in 5th, Sprout, Stanford 6th, Kai Robinson 7th. Listen, I got to bring this up because I mentioned this in the ranking show early on. I said, you have Iowa State too low. I said, you have Iowa State too low. We argued about it. You discounted the Festus Legat factor. I said, nope, don't count this guy out. He's a gamer. Ends up being their second stick here. Tell me, I'm looking at your most recent rankings here. You had Iowa State down at 15th. So we gotta think this is a big performance for them today.
Yeah, it is a big performance for them, but it also could be the result of subpar performances from other teams. So
combination.
You look at my 15th ranked team was Iowa State, and my 16th ranked team was Tulsa, and Tulsa finished 3rd in this race. So, and Stanford was a big upset because Stanford have as a top 7, top 10 team. So that was an impressive move for Iowa State to beat a good Stanford team. But the other teams that have ranked above them, either they weren't at this meet or they kind of just underperformed. Like the Washingtons, the Syracuses didn't run well as I expected. Wisconsin kind of ran well, was still there in that top group. But yeah, Iowa State clearly is showing that they're not 15th. I probably would look at them now more in the 6 to 10 range. I'm not yet crowning them a podium contender yet, like in the top 4, because pre-nats was definitely a deeper men's field than the Nuttycombe field. But Iowa State did kind of impress me. They were one of the surprises that went from a middle of the pack 15th ranked team to now, I believe, on a bad day, they'll finish 10th, So I think they're definitely deserve to be in the top 10 now.